Hello and welcome to the Starfall Collective Season 2, King of the Cloudy Sea, a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventure. I am Matthew Talamini, your Dungeon Master. I'm a writer and web developer based in Providence, Rhode Island, and you can find my stuff at MatthewTalamini.com. That's Matthew, TALAMINI.com. With me are some of my college buddies, Sir Robert Burbridge playing Weatherin, an elven paladin of Oberon. Say hi so people know who you are and tell them where they can find your stuff.
Hi, I'm Sir Robert Burbridge, and as Matt said, playing Watherin, and you can find some stuff at thefarce.net.
David Farrell playing Tashash, or Gravy, a lizardfolk ranger. Say hi so people know who you are. Tell them where they can find your stuff.
Hi, I'm David. I have a blog. It's called 10,000 Reasons Why the MTG Multiverse is a Terrible Place to Live. And if you go and check it out, you can find out about Banshee choirs.
That sounds like an
awful.
amazing reason to live in MTG.
To each their own, I guess.
Sounds like something Providence people would be into. Dwight Canal playing Fennetir, an elven cleric of Pan. Say hi so people know who you are. Tell them if they can find their stuff.
Hi, and you can find your stuff if you know where it is. This week I am sponsored by Takis Fuego.
He's not.
They are very tasty, and they're not giving me any money, but they are giving me lots of tastiness after I give them money.
I'm glad you enjoy their product.
Kind of a reverse sponsorship.
Yep.
Not the traditional sponsorship. Joshua Stewart playing Malmer, an elven warlock of Chernobog. Say hi so people know who you are and tell them where they can find your stuff.
This is me. You can find my stuff all over the internet by looking up JSUICH. That's J Switch. And that'll get you access to my ramblings and images on Instagram and Reddit and Facebook and such. And pretty soon you'll be able to hear my thoughts on the cryptic, the cryptids, and the supernatural on Bigfoot Society podcast. That'll be coming out soon.
We left off last episode in the middle of a discussion with Nebulaster, the Cloud Giant. We're going to jump back for a bit and do, before we get back into that, we are going to do a scene back on board the Fujin. This is happening at about the same time as this conversation with Nebulaster. Don't worry. You will get to say whatever you have to say to the Cloud Giant or ask him whatever you still have to ask. We find ourselves, the camera, in Captain Gorio's cabin, where he stands leaning over a map on a table with his dark elf harpooner at his elbow. They're discussing their latest communication from their dark goddess, Karen, which we spell with a Q so that it's not too political.
At the beginning.
Carried by a powerful hag concealed in a pool on the island. Enma, the silver squid, Gorio's arch nemesis, is hidden somewhere in the depths, which is to say, the center of the Cloudy Sea, where the trees are far taller and the monsters much more dangerous, and where kraken hunters seldom go. Too many have sought to explore the depths and never returned. The hag informed Gorio and the Dark Elf, within range of Fennetir's amazing lip-reading ability, that Karen didn't want him going there, but rather to bide his time as she draws together the elements of her grand plan. So, before the captain on the table are laid out the significant locations within the Cloudy Sea on his map. The Ragged Edge, the Swamp Eternal, Air Mountain. So Robert, if you can get that image up on the screen.
Mm-hmm. One sec.
Gorio has some reason to visit each of these places, as he had a reason to visit Nebulaster's Perch, and no definite reason to prefer one over the other. Each of you go ahead and roll a d20 to set initiative order, and we will follow that around as many times as we need to. Any one of you players can pay me 1 fate point to change Goryo's mind. If you do, another player can pay 2 to override you, and then 3, and so on. All the points spent in this way are lost, whether you succeed in influencing Goryo or whether you're overridden.
Now, in the past, people have been able to just bid however many points they want. Is
Yes.
that changing now? And we're
Nope.
going enforced round robin with single point increments?
You can bid whatever you want.
Okay.
I got a 1. I have an initiative +1, so I don't know if that's a 1 or 2.
Nope, this is not your character. This is just you.
Oh, this is Dwight. Dwight
This is
rolled
Dwight
a
rolling.
natural 1.
I got a
Possibly a supernatural 1.
Say that again, Dave.
13.
All right.
I got 6.
And I got a big old whopping 15.
All right, Josh, do you wish to pay any points, fate points, to influence the course of the Fujin?
I do. I wish to spend 10 fate points.
Dave, I don't think anybody else has 10 fate points to spend.
I will spend 0.
Sir Robert, I don't think you have 10 points.
No, I have negative 16 points.
I don't think
That
that's
is not true.
true.
Approximately.
Dwight, I also think that you don't have 10 points. I think Josh has the most and he just spent them.
He's been robbing Peter to pay Paul. There's another ledger where he has positive fate points. But so Robert, we've talked about this kind of bookkeeping.
I'll keep it hush hush still.
So where are we going?
What is the destination that you would like to spend those fate points to influence the fate of the Fujin?
I say we go to Kmart.
Okay, Mark. Blue light special.
Nope, we're going to the Raggedy Edge, boys. We're getting a spear. I'm gonna get me my spear. Well, my glaive. As we all know, to glaive means to sword fight at the end of a quarterstaff.
Goryo appears to reach a decision. The Ragged Edge, he says, pointing. We shall seek what may assist us at the Ragged Edge. The Dark Elf nods gravely. Just then, there's a sound of a commotion outside. Goryo looks out his porthole and sighs, then takes his harpoon down off the wall and slides a thin gray wand into the pocket of his coat as he goes. Now, back to the top of the castle. You're in a tip top of the tower. This is soaring cloud giant architecture of gleaming white marble, brass scientific instruments, colored light through the enormous stained glass windows glancing brightly off of lenses of every kind, scientific instruments. There are books, wooden tables, desks, shelves. The giant himself is a remarkable figure with pale white skin and blue hair, wrapped in a silk robe of impossible ornateness and covered in multiple king's ransoms in jewels and ornamentation of every kind. You all stand before him. Our time is limited, he rumbles.
Mal kind of nods and takes a step back.
Sorry, remind me from last week. Sorry to break out for a second. Remind me from last week. I remember that something about Dave had learned
Tashash
about.
has recently had a very
Sorry, Tashash.
interesting interaction with the god Palor.
Right.
and where the cloud giant has been trying to advise him to submit much more than he seems to want to.
And they had some discussion of telescopes and things, but we haven't had any talk of those things, have we? I can't quite remember what happened.
No, I
last time.
believe that the telescope demonstration was given to Tashash alone,
Okay.
as well as the map and the coordinates of the next starfall. However, after seeing all of you together, the giant had a sort of spiritual or religious realization or epiphany about what the gods were up to, and gave all of you together a sort of
Object lesson.
object lesson demonstration about the current theological
Right.
situation in the Cloudy Sea.
With the scales. Okay, great. Thank you. I just needed a quick reminder of where we were. Nebulaster, do you have any word or information about the goings on at Air Mountain?
Those folk seldom visit here. I know little of their doings.
Okay. You don't happen to know anything about an old elf named Firin, do you?
Firin. How old would you say?
From a couple thousand years ago.
Oh, before my time.
Okay.
He goes to the bookshelf, runs his counts along the spines of a few books near the top where you can barely even see. Pulls one out, flips through it. What year would you say? It's okay. You can just say Weatherin tells him the exact year.
Yeah, Weatherin tells him the year and says he was known as the Seer of Poru. The region of Poru.
Poru. Yes, I have some notes here about something about a great war in the Elven lands.
Yeah.
And a hero who arose and sacrificed himself in some way. Is that of whom you speak?
That's the one.
Yes, news did reach us here in the Perch of those events. However, I have nothing beyond that.
Okay. Thanks.
Puts the volume back on the shelf.
Whose perch was it back then?
The Nebulaster's Perch, of course.
Like a family name?
He's the Dread Pirate Nebulaster.
Oh, great Nebulaster. Everybody's always talking down about Pon, but when they're throwing their spears, they sure do like his blessings on the back end of that spear. So I'm just wondering what I should do. I'm thinking of hanging out in this tavern down at the base of your purse. Might just stay there. What do you think about that?
I see the gods are not like us mortals. I see their intentions flowing as a stream. And on that dark vessel, the Fujin, I can see those streams beginning to converge. I do not know whether it bodes well or ill, but I think that your best service to your god would be to board that vessel once again.
Mal speaks up and says, if it is in the best interests of a servant of Pan, an ally of yours, and it is in the best interest, I take it also, of my good man Watherin, and of Gravy himself, then I would ask you again in this light if you are willing to shed any help at all on the issue of traveling the Ragged Edge. Our journey may...
Seem to have lost Josh.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a bird start singing.
That's at my house.
Ah,
He'll be back in
Josh.
a minute.
Yeah. In the meantime, just as a quick side note, everybody make sure your video quality is adjusted appropriately.
mine is set to still image.
Good. Oh,
Okay.
Hey, Josh, we lost you there. Oh.
Last thing we heard was Ragged Edge.
He's still not with us.
He's not with us anymore.
So Watherin says, Gravy, are you planning to come back to the Fujin?
Why would I do that?
Exactly.
Hold on just a sec. We're having a little bit of a problem.
Hey, Gravy, you want to hang out in the tavern with me? Ooh.
Tashash pauses for a minute, and then he says,
Okay, I could do that.
Nice. We got us a party.
Looks like Josh might be having more
Bandwidth.
persistent connection issue.
Does seem that way.
I'll tell you what. I'm just going to put us on a quick intermission so that anybody, people will know for sure what's happening.
Sounds good.
All right, there we go. All right, we had some technical difficulties, but it looks like we are rolling again. Josh was in the middle of, Mal was in the middle of saying to Nebulaster that he wanted some input about if it was worthwhile for him, considering it's worthwhile for the other gods. Go for it.
Yeah. So basically asking Nebulaster, come on, one more time. Any clue, hint, help you could possibly give us or be willing to point us in the direction of someone else for help navigating the Ragged Edge.
Help navigating the Ragged Edge from a giant.
Do you know of a worthy sailor who has accomplished the feat, who might have wisdom or technique?
Yes, there are probably several aboard the Fujin, such as your captain, a man of great renown, whom I have seen before.
Indeed. If this is the limit of your knowledge, then I understand and I appreciate you advising us. He kind of bows and backs away.
Also, while you're gone, me and Tashash have decided we might just hang out in the tavern.
Ah, that was what you were going to do. Okay. If Mal hears that at all, he's going to say, I think I could use a drink.
To the tavern!
To the tavern!
It was a strange experience meeting you. I will write it up in my history books, the four of you. Farewell, says the giant.
Thanks.
And
Mal gives him his full name, Malmer Mayala, before leaving, just to make sure that
Just make sure he gets
he's
it right.
recorded correctly.
and Watherin does pretty formal but common prayer and blessing from Oberon.
Finitier looks and sees if there's anything broken that he can fix.
Pretty much everything is spick and span.
Dang.
What do you say after you fixed something to try to make it a little more evangelical, just to kind of seal the deal that that's from Pon?
If it weren't for Pon, this wouldn't have happened.
All right, so you
Tashash,
descend-
Josh turns to Nebulaster and says,
Though it would seem we do not quite share the same opinions about your god, I would say the folk of the lizards, we would offer our goodwill to the folk of the giants.
Very well. We do enjoy your dinosaurs when we can get them.
As do we.
They're just about the right size.
We make do.
he nods and follows the rest out.
I suppose a cloud giant could like ride a Ultrasaurus, like a large horse.
There are few animals, but for dinosaurs, that the cloud giant. Well, I mean, actually, in D&D, there are lots and lots of gigantic things that giants could ride, I suppose. So, you descend the stairs from the topmost level of Nebulaster's perch and reach the middle floor, the clanking, the workshop level. The fire giant gives you a curt nod as you go by.
Hey, I remember you.
Ground floor, the ice giant, likewise, is sitting on his throne. He watches as you cross the hall and leave. He has nothing to say. When you exit Weatherin, you're approached by Kalerk. And he says, hey, I was talking to some of the Aarakocra around here, and there's actually something we want you to look at, if you wouldn't mind, if you've got time.
Sure, I'd love to.
We could use an Oberon guy.
Okay, and I turn to the other three and say, why don't you all go get your drink or whatever at the pub there, and I'll head off with Kalerk.
See ya.
All right, off you three go. It seems that there is an altar to Oberon that was recently desecrated, and the Aarakocra on the island would not mind at all, given the close presence of various, what they see as nefarious influences from the Ragged Edge. They wouldn't mind at all if it were to be re-sanctified. It's on the south side near the cliff edge. If you follow Kalerk there, you will find a couple of other Aarakocra who you haven't met before, but they seem to be...
Anybody else having a hard time hearing Matt?
Yeah, he froze up.
I think he's gone.
Neither Matt nor Dwight are moving. Dwight still looks very furry with a drawn smile.
I'm here though.
No, I
I don't know
know.
if
I
you
see your
can hear
picture.
me.
You look like a cat.
Maybe I should get
Yeah.
a gift.
You're back. You're back.
I'm back?
Matt.
I'm back.
Yep, you're back.
It's almost as though a long time ago somebody planted a half circle ring of trees,
Okay.
but those trees have had children, and the children have had children, so that by this time it's almost a semicircular like copse
Mhm.
or a grove, where the original trees are probably not there anymore. But if you go to the center of this grove, there's a small waist-high standing stone, which is where some of them used to make little offerings to Oberon before it got all creepy. It has been gouged with these claws, and it smells pretty bad. There's like a stink.
The little altar.
Yeah, it's what it is it's like a waist-high standing stone, sort of like a half pillar or like a cylinder, sort of recalling the kind of classical architecture style that Oberon temples tend to favor.
Mhm.
This is like a sort of little nod to those marble pillars, that kind of the way that Oberon likes to present himself.
Do you mean a plinth?
Yeah, I could call it a plinth. Yeah, but right now it's filthy. There's like stuff on it, and when you go near it, you get a bad feeling. The Aarakocra haven't wanted to make any offerings there since this happened, because they get that bad feeling too.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead and role play if you want, but I'll tell you that if you do the ceremony spell, which is going to cost you the 25 gold worth of silver dust,
Mhm.
you have a ceremony that will resanctify.
Sure. Okay. How long has this been this way?
Forever?
It's been defiled this way forever?
Oh, no, I mean, it just couple of weeks, I guess.
Oh, okay. Recent.
This is recent. It creeped us out.
And I'd like to just kind of inspect it and see if I can figure out what happened, what made the claw marks or scratches, or if there's any graffiti, or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, you can make a if you want to know what made the scratches, that's a nature check. But you can also just do a general investigation.
Sure, let's do that. A 5.
Something gross.
Okay, fair enough.
But as you are looking at it, you notice a motif that is carved into it, which is a pair of eyes.
Hmm.
And just at the very edge, just barely left over, like most of it is gone, but there's just this one fleck. There is a bit of yellow paint in the corner of one of the eyes.
Okay. Yeah, Watherin has his book, his like journal, whatever, and just is gonna. And he just, I guess I'll say to them, I can re-sanctify this this altar, and it'll get rid of the terrible feeling, the bad vibe here. Is there anything in particular besides that I can do for you all?
Well, do you know what's been going on in the Cloudy Sea? Like, you're a holy man. Can you tell us why are these evil creatures around suddenly?
The best I can tell you, I have some inklings, but I don't understand the full picture yet. But the best I can tell you is that it looks like there is some kind of tension between Oberon and shoot, I forgot the name of the other one.
Karen,
Palor.
Palor.
Han.
Yeah, Palor. It looks like Oberon and Palor are having some kind of tension with maybe Karen and Chernobog, and then Pan is mixed in somehow. So the gods have been doing something. I don't know what it means for any of us, but I do know that we are living in a strange time and adventuring in a strange place right now.
We would kind of like to go back to Air Mountain. It's not traveling in the Cloudy Sea is dangerous, but it's much less dangerous for us than for, you elves. But whenever we talk about it, we think, yeah, we don't really know.
What's going on in Air Mountain?
Oh, not much as far as we can tell.
Okay. I very much would like to go to Air Mountain myself. Have you been there recently?
No, none of us have. We're from there,
Okay.
but
I
it's been years.
I have a message that was intercepted from Air Mountain. I pull out my book and I show them the transcription I made that was like a request for help that
Requests for help.
we got. And I say, I don't know. I don't understand it exactly. I'm trying to get to Air Mountain as soon as I can, but you all should know about this.
Oh my. This looks very serious. More serious than I'd thought. It may be time for us to go back to the homeland. Thank you for showing us this.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me also make sure I consecrate this site for you here. But I have a favor to ask, small favor. If you do get back to Air Mountain or can put the word out, I am looking for an elf there who's very important to me and to my people. And his name is Firin Salvanis. If you can find him, he's an old elf by now, at least probably. But if you can find him and tell him that one of his followers is searching for him, I would appreciate it.
I don't know who that is. But we can pass on word to the priestly
Great.
fellas.
And I tell them, and I show them in the letter, and I say, I think that this letter may have been written by him. It has some interesting elven language that is uncommon to see. So,
in that case, we'll if somebody who's writing to you now, yeah, we'll get in touch with the temple.
I would appreciate it greatly if maybe if I happen to catch any of you again or somebody who's talked to you, I'd love to receive word. Let me get to this site and get it back into proper condition. It's worthy of Oberon. And so I will do the appropriate ritual for that, and let me mark off my equipment here. Do you need me to roll anything, or
How long does it take?
I do not know?
30 minutes.
Let me check. Sorry, let's see spells. There we go. Which one was it again?
Ceremony.
An hour.
Okay. So you before you start the ceremony, Kalerk flies off. He's on the ship's business, doing various errands, I guess.
Okay.
Probably help, overseeing crews gathering wood and water and those sorts of things.
Sure. Readying for the voyage.
Yeah. So he takes off.
Sorry. That's me. One sec. Where is that coming from?
Inside the house.
It's coming from inside the house.
Sorry, that was my kid's school.
Oh.
And somehow we are suddenly not showing a bunch of people. Give me 1 second.
Hey, I'm still there though.
Yes.
Most important one remains.
Okay, you can go on and I will fix this.
Okay. So two things happen after you finish this spell. Part of what you do is, clean it off.
Sure.
Clean off the gunk, because it's not appropriate for an altar of Oberon to be filthy with nasty, like, swamp ooze or whatever. So you clean it off, and when you complete the ceremony, there's some gunk and mire
Okay.
in the lower corner of the plinth that sort of falls away, revealing some little tiny elven script that says, "The Ring of the Sun, 3 center."
The Ring of the Sun, 3 center. Okay. Do I know anything about that, or I'm just going to
Have you
record
been to? No, I don't believe Weatherin knows about it.
Okay. Got it. Cool.
The second thing that happens is that Kalerk flies down and he says, "Come on, everybody's got to get back to the ship. Quick, quick, quick. Let's go. It is time to head out. Captain's orders."
Who's Kalerk?
Kalerk is the Aarakocra harpooner. He has come to fetch Weatherin.
Okay. I say farewell to the people and the Aarakocra and head on over.
You are... The time that it took you to walk there and then walk back, you're going to be out for like a little bit. And in fact, the time that it takes for the 3 of you who are separate
Who are partying.
when you get to the tavern at the edge of the world, you find that the party is pretty much over. There has been the sailors are all preparing to leave. Everybody's getting back on board the ship. The captain has ordered everybody back aboard, and something has definitely happened. The air is sort of tense and nervous. People are hurrying. People are looking a little weird and uncomfortable.
Finnetir notices none of this and walks into the tavern and orders a drink.
Tashash sits down at the table with Finnetir and also orders a drink.
Agang says, you sailors want to get back on your ship.
That is not my ship.
Do I look like a sailor?
No skin off my nose.
Mal is with them, and
Does your nose even have any skin on it?
Mal is kind of with them / behind them, and he kind of puts a hand on the shoulder of both of them and swings them around, and he looks at Finnetir and he
That's going
says,
to be a grapple check.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do you guys want to not be swung around?
Tashash smacks his arm away and stands up and faces him and says,
What do you want?
you know, you speak of your principles and how you live by this code. You talk about the business arrangement being done between us. You say things to me like, you had nothing to do with me coming to Nebulaster's perch. But the truth is, I had a great deal to do with it, and you chose to leave. You broke faith with our agreement. Having said that, there is a matter that you and I need to see through to the end. A
You
matter...
think I owe you something?
I think you owe me nothing. You've made that perfectly clear. And I compel you to do nothing. I ask you to fulfill your role as my shipmate. I ask you to come with me. I ask you to look in your heart and ask yourself, has this man whom I have so easily cast aside wronged me, harmed me, crossed me, or has he stuck his neck out at times, trying to make sure that I get safely to the other side, that I fulfill my
attacked
objectives? I attacked you so that you wouldn't be clapped in irons, you fool. I didn't hold it against you. I knew you were having a bad day. I didn't shame you for it. I didn't ask for recompense. I stuck my neck out and I said, I'll be responsible for him. This is a poor payback for a man who claims to be so principled. Loyalty means something on the seas that I ride. And he turns and he walks out the door towards the Fujin.
Yeah, clearly with all your like crazy spirit worms from the other dimension.
Don't be jealous and petty that my spells are better than yours. Get on that ship and do what you can with what you've got.
That ship's going down, man.
It certainly will if we don't go there together.
I mean, we can go to the bottom together. That's the only place we're going together.
He's
Tashash
saying that
is-
to the back of Tashash. He's saying that to the back of Mal's head. Mal's walking out the door.
Tashash is sitting at the table. He's not paying any more attention.
Have we gotten our drinks yet? What's the service in this place like?
Yeah, you've had drinks sitting on the bar in front of you this whole time.
And
Nice.
Watherin, if I'm there or near or whatever, Watherin is basically more or less agrees with them that the ship's probably going down, and also just says, that doesn't mean we shouldn't go, and also heads to the ship.
Doesn't mean you shouldn't go.
That's it.
When Weatherin and Malmer, when you come aboard the ship, what you see, have any of you talked to any of the sailors?
I
or
haven't.
asked what's going on?
If I'm not at the ship yet, then no. Or if I haven't seen any.
Mal, I suppose you're the first one to come aboard the ship, right?
I guess, yeah.
Because Weatherin would still be on his way back. I don't know. We can have you all four get together to have that little conversation that you just had.
Sure.
But whoever goes on the ship first, you see nailed to the mast are two hill giant heads
Mm.
dripping blood.
Is that the hill giants that were partying at the tavern?
You have not seen this,
Oh.
Fennetir. You're still at the bar.
Yes.
You haven't asked anybody what's going on, and you don't know.
I don't care.
Malmer, you see this. The sailors are. Have you ever been in a classroom where the teacher has just had to send like a couple kids to the principal's office?
/ cut off their heads and attach them to the mast.
This is sort of like what students are like when the principal has just expelled one of their classmates for something. The sailors are very diligently performing their tasks, stowing things, tying things up, getting things ready to sail.
Malmer, are you there?
I'm here. Yeah.
He was talking to you, I think.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I think Mal looks around and tries to find the guy that he's been having little winky time with, and says, "Whose bodies do those heads belong to?"
Couple of hill giants. I think you met them.
Oh, those two. I see their affairs, their revelings brought them to the Fujin. They demanded food and things got ugly. How did this happen?
Well, the scuttlebutt is that Minato and Aelin, you know those two sailors, they were helping Agang haul the two drunken hill giants up to the North Beach to wait for her friend to come. They have a system, apparently, where they use rafts with barbecues on them to lure the brutes off of the populated islands.
Ah, I
Friend
see.
hadn't arrived yet, so she wanted the evil cantankerous monsters asleep someplace safer. So they had tied them and were dragging them to the beach, dead drunks, completely asleep. But once they got there, they decided to have a couple themselves, the idiots. And they too fell asleep on the beach next to those giants. And
Oh,
well,
my.
when the raft came and the giants awoke to the smells of the meat, apparently they decided it was more convenient to eat the sailors still asleep next to them. And that was when I heard first there was a chase. There was all sorts of commotion all over the east end of the island. Giants clomping about and knocking branches off trees and trampling everything. And then you wouldn't believe it. The captain came down out of the ship.
And
I'll never forget it. He was like the personification of wrath itself. He shouted at the one so loudly that it ran away, a giant, scared of an elf. And then he stabbed the other one with his harpoon at least a dozen times. He took a few blows from the club. Didn't seem to faze him. And by the time the second hill giant returned, he was cutting the head off of the first. And it wasn't that long before he was cutting the head off of the second as well.
that's a captain worth following to hell and back.
A fighter like that I have not seen in my life.
Nor I.
put the fear into me, I tell you.
I suppose you have some sort of way of accommodating such a formidable man in your theoretical models that are playing about in your head, should there be some sort of change in the wind.
I tell you, my thoughts are not what they were.
I see. Well, your thoughts are but idle musings, I understand.
Oh, and never were. I never spoke a single disloyal word in my life.
Oh, no, of course not.
Never.
No.
A picture of perfect probity.
Were that every man on this ship as you are in your heart and your actions. And Mal kind of nods to him and kind of withdraws. Mal is going to go try to find one of the drow on the ship, and he's going to use this opportunity, this kind of distraction where people's attention is elsewhere, to try to get a moment alone with one of the drow.
Are you going to seek out anyone in particular?
I mean, there were only 3 or 4 of them, right?
There are 5.
5. Okay, so if there are 5 of them,
one of them
and
is clearly the leader, and then there are 4 like sailors.
I would go to the leader of them.
The leader, he's with Goryo.
Okay.
In the cabin. You can't enter. You can't see him right now.
Okay.
I mean, unless you want to.
Yeah, I'll knock on the door.
The captain says, "What is it?"
Where's my...
He says, sorry, Captain, I know that this is not an ideal time, but there are large and important matters at play, matters that your deity and mine need to be of greater accord on. And he produces the script and says,
"You're outside the door. They can't see anything that you produce."
Oh, okay. He says, I need not bother you, but I do need a word with your right-hand man.
Is it important?
It is, Captain. I would not bother you otherwise. I know that this is not a good time at all.
Go. And the dark elf opens the door just wide enough to squeeze out, shuts it again, so that you don't like get a look inside or anything. And he says, "Yes."
I understand that this is a bad time, but tensions are high. Obviously, there are many things happening, and the last thing I want is to delay this information so that a poor decision is made. And Mal produces this leather script and says, I received this missive. I know that it is a matter of importance to my deity and yours, based on the mere context that I know it comes from mine, and it is meant for your eyes.
I think actually that you don't have the actual leather piece, but you have a copy of the words that were scratched onto it, and Weathern has the actual leather piece.
No, I went to him and I got it from him.
Oh, and he copied it.
Mm-hmm.
He did take it.
Okay, cool. Never mind then. I was remembering incorrectly. He He looks at it and he says, "This is interesting. Very interesting indeed."
And this interesting message is...
I'm glad that I was able to convince the captain to point the ship towards the Ragged Edge. It is most propitious. What this
Indeed.
message says is that Chernobog awaits at the bottom of the three-sided valley. And the next line says, the pyramids on the corners hide his lair.
And Mal dramatically produces the pennant from within his garb and unfolds it a little bit in a way that what's this guy's name? Have I ever asked that? Has Mal ever gotten this guy's name?
Not yet.
Okay. Mal holds out the pennant and says, I believe a great boon in the effort to slay Inma will be waiting for us there. And he folds it back up and stuffs it in.
This is most interesting. I will think on it. It goes back in.
All right.
Weatherin, you arrive now back at the east side of the island.
Okay. Which is where the boat is, the ship.
Yep.
Okay.
And also within sight of the tavern at the end of the world.
Mm-hmm. Can I guess we've had the conversation we had, right? At the tavern, let's just say.
Yeah, sure.
I took a quick detour there.
Took a
Okay. Yeah, get on the ship and also inquire after, hey, what's with the two giant heads? As I
Sailor
start
said-
working.
A sailor lets you know
Same thing.
roughly the same story as Mal got about what happened.
And yeah, Watherin says, well, I guess it's going to be a good day for each one of us to die sometime. And just starts working.
Okay. The time comes for the ship to depart. Weatherin, your boat is missing 2 sailors from it.
It is.
Or your boat is missing 1 sailor and the ship is missing the priest.
And I go and make Sarah, is her name. I inform her of that in my capacity as boat leader. And I inform her.
They already knew that I was gone.
Yeah, I tell her, Sarah, if you have a
Right.
moment.
Oh, yeah, right. Sarah won't know that you have seen Tashash.
That's right. Sarah, if you have a moment.
Yes.
So, 2 strange pieces of news for you that I feel I should inform you. One is that it looks like the ship's priest Tapan is being flaky, like priests Tapan sometimes do. He seems to be staying on the island, as far as I can tell. And 2, I'm short a man on my boat here, but Gravy, that odd lizard guy, is on the island with the priest Tapan.
But he went overboard days ago. We haven't seen him since.
Yeah, and he is not interested in coming on the ship, but I just thought I would let you know because It'll make it harder for me to do my duties if I don't. They think that the ship is doomed or something, and I personally don't care if it is. I have a duty to perform.
I don't suppose that you heard about the hill giants.
I did. I actually spoke with these two idiots shortly before they lost their heads.
Then you understand why I don't want to bother the captain about this.
I do.
I suppose I'd better go.
Is there anything I can
And,
do to help?
She says, I don't care. I'm sick of all this. Those two are nothing but trouble, and I hope the captain kills them. And she goes and she gets Barkus. And her and Barkus go down the gangplank. And they walk. And they come under the bar. She says,
Hey,
Tasha,
If I don't
I'm
have
glad you're
duties,
alive.
if I don't
Oh,
have
yeah.
duties, I'll follow at a small distance behind them. But if I do, I'll keep doing them on the boat.
No,
On the
that's
ship.
fine. You can come with.
Okay,
She's okay with that. You're her harpooner, so this
Sure.
is
my business too.
your business too. Gravy, I'm glad to see that you're alive. I don't know if you've heard, but it's time to board the ship. Same to you, Fennetir. Chop chop.
Tashash turns and says,
My business with the Fujin is complete.
More money for y'all when you get back to port.
Interesting. We're not a cruise line.
Yeah.
Well, I'll talk to the captain.
My business is complete. I have died. The dead can neither pay nor collect on debts. And to this I will call Nebulaster the Giant as witness.
Oh, the giant. That's cute. The Fennetir, come along.
I'm all right.
Interesting. Well, I might be your last chance to survive.
Why is that?
I don't know if you've noticed, but the captain of the Fujin has what you might call anger issues. I don't know if you remember a little ceremony that he performed where he asked you all to drink with him to the death of Enma and got you to swear to join him on his mad quest of vengeance. I know I remember it quite clearly, but apparently you don't, and he will not be very happy that you seem to have forgotten about it, so I'm just going to go tell him, and he'll come back here, and he will kill both of you, and then we will leave. Or maybe we'll just take you back on the boat in irons, I don't know.
Did you not hear me?
And
I have already died.
Watherin jumps in.
We are done.
Watherin jumps in and says to Fennetir, "Hey, Fennetir, I don't want you to die." And the captain appears to have single-handedly just killed those two hill giants that were giving us trouble before, just for annoying him. And I know you think the boat is doomed, but if you don't get on, you're definitely doomed. If you do get on, you might be doomed, and I'm willing to try to help. That's a tough call, man. I get it, but I recommend not going towards a more certain death.
Well, I guess I'm not more formidable than a couple of hill giants. And Finitir runs out the back of the bar.
He just gets up and
bolts.
bolts.
Yep.
Um,
And Watherin says to Gravy, Gravy, seeing as how you died and it didn't seem to hurt your prospects much, doesn't seem like you have a lot to fear from coming back to the boat either.
Why should I go to the boat?
Um,
I see there's nothing to be gained on that boat. My duty is to my people.
I'm just telling you that that's how it looks to me. You were on my boat, and I have to do some harpooning, so I am trying to help you see that it's not going to be especially harmful to you to come back to this boat.
Your powers of persuasion are not very good.
Okay, I'm just telling you there's a captain who wants to kill people, so...
I do not see what that has to do with me.
Yeah, well, we're all going to die. I guess if you're going to pick the time now, that's fine.
Fennetir, as you run off, once you get out of sight of the others, are you going to be heading? So the tavern is slightly north of where the Fujin docked. There's a. Are you heading into the interior of the island, or are you heading north towards like the shore, or like what direction generally?
I'm heading towards any sort of thick vegetation.
Okay, so you're heading towards the interior of the island. You're running west, and you get a little ways. As soon as you get behind some trees, out of sight of the others, you feel a like vibration and a little magical dingle from the sending stone.
Ooh. I flip it open like a Motorola Razor and say, "Hey, what's going on?"
The sending stone says to you, "We are nearby. Won't hurt or thieve you. Meet us on the beach."
I'll be there. And I turn north.
You reach the beach, and two of the goose knights sort of spiral down.
Oh, you guys.
And you notice just then, all of you will notice this at about this time, that some dark storm clouds are beginning to gather. And then the goose knights, boy, I'm going to have to bring up their actual names. Oh, those aren't their names. Oh, yeah. One of them says to you, "Boy, we've been trying to meet with you for a long time."
Is this before or after you tried to steal my whatchamajogger?
I mean, I guess we live a kind of chaotic life.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Oh, also, I'm sorry about that that one guy.
yeah. Cletus.
He's kind of chaotic himself.
Oh, you mean the one that killed Cletus?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know the Cloudy Sea is like that. That's treasure hunting for you.
Hey,
I'll
can you
tell
guys help me hide somewhere?
I'm Buck.
Hey, Buck.
This is Darlene. Buck is
Hey,
the one with
Darlene.
the mustache. Darlene is the one with the ponytail. They are small. They have very big geese.
And what are they? They're like halflings or something?
Yeah, they're gnomes.
Gnomes. Hey, Buck and Darlene. What did you want to talk to me about?
Well, we were originally going to go back on our word to Pond, and we were going to
Oh.
get the book for ourselves.
Ooh, the book. I'm looking for a book.
Yeah, and we're looking for a book as well. You see, the way that Cloudy Sea works is, well, can't say I understand how it works, despite my long career in this place, but in this part of the sea, the parts where you've been sailing around, Pond has a tough time getting to you.
Oh yeah.
You may have noticed your prayers don't seem to be working maybe the way they used to. You might have
It's true.
stopped
Me and
having
Pon
those
haven't
dreams.
partied in a while.
Yeah, same here. He's a great partier, I tell you what. Had
Tell
some good
you
times with
what.
that old boy. Listen, he wanted us to come and help you out if we could.
Oh, and you were not doing that.
Well, I mean, we were, he gave you the totem that shows the way to the book.
That's what y'all were looking for.
Well, frankly, yes. We're going to take it for ourselves. We're
You
going to
got
find the
one of
book
them
ourselves.
geese in my size?
I'm afraid not. Afraid not. Nah. Someone your weight. Don't think we can travel with you, buddy. Wish we could.
Maybe you could tie a goose to each of my feet.
Afraid it doesn't work that way. But
Man.
if you help us out,
Uh-huh.
tell us which direction that old book is in. I
Oh
think
yeah.
we can. Might need some help from you every now and again. But we'll get it, bring it to you.
Oh yeah. We'll see, this boat that I was getting a ride on is heading in entirely the wrong direction. And I don't know how much longer it has in one piece.
I know what you're talking about. These Kraken hunters, they're crazy.
That
Not as
they
crazy as
are.
us treasure hunters, though. Ha ha! Ho ho! So you banter back and forth with them for a while, but the general gist is this: that they had been sent by Pond to assist you, had decided to betray you, steal the totem, get the book for themselves. They may have realized that this is not the best way to go about it, and seem to have changed their ways.
Can I perceive how truthful they are?
Oh yes. Go ahead and make a not perception but
Insight.
Insight is what you want.
Well, first I say a short prayer to Pon for guidance. Roll that insight, which is terrible, but hopefully Pon will help me. He does not, and I get a 7 total.
Okay. Yeah, you get the sense that they if I've understood these terms correctly, which maybe I haven't, they have a good deal of tactical expertise in the Cloudy Sea. Seem to be able to handle themselves pretty well in individual encounters. But their overall strategic planning as an organization doesn't seem to be very good.
That seems to be accurate as to how they have been represented to me. Well, I don't know about the first part, the second half at least. Hey, do y'all know about any other boats heading this way that might be heading a different direction when they leave?
we can look out for them. I think that at this point we should go on our 10-minute break.
Let's
Deal.
do it.
8:55. We'll be back at about 9:05.
Sounds good. Let me pull this out here.
Welcome back to part 2 of this episode of the Starfall Collective, King of the Cloudy Sea. We are at a very interesting point. The second mate, Sarah, has come to fetch some recalcitrant sailors back on board the ship. One of them has taken off into the bushes, and the other one, Tashash, is sitting before her, fairly, I suppose, composed and not seeming to care very much.
Has she not left?
She's about to.
Okay, that's fine. She leaves.
She turns on her heel and she goes.
All right.
We're going to make
Oh.
a roll now. Okay.
After I guess after sitting there for a few minutes, Tashash is going to get up and try and track down Finnetir.
Okay. Fennetir, were you attempting at all to be stealthy as you took off? You didn't say so at the time, so I'm going to say no, never mind. He wasn't attempting to be stealthy, so it's not going to be a difficult survival check to track him down.
Oh. Survival check. Okay. That's 22.
You follow his path easily. He goes west for a little ways, and then he stops, and then he turns to his right and heads north. You follow him, and you see him on a beach with 2 gnomes in armor with lances. They are the lances are couched, not in an aggressive posture, but they're sticking up, and they are mounted on enormous geese. And Fennetir and them are talking.
Not big enough.
Not big enough.
Tashash,
Big enough for gnomes.
Tashash approaches Finnetir.
Hey man, how's it going?
Hello.
Yeah, and he snorts in what appears to be frustration.
You elves. You do not understand how a bargain works. No matter. Perhaps you are different from the others.
What was the bargain?
Which bargain?
Exactly.
Tashash pauses, and after a moment, he appears to be satisfied with this answer. He nods and says,
Yes, well, I do not want the captain to murder you, so
Me neither.
why don't you come with me
Where are we going?
away, where the captain
Okay.
will not murder you?
I like that.
Here,
And here's a little guidance from Pon in case you need it.
wait, what?
what did he do?
You have for the next minute, if you want. If you don't, you can get rid of this. But if you want, when you make an ability check, you can add a D4
Oh, okay.
before or after.
So
making it.
Tashash says,
All right, well, we should leave now, so get on my back.
Okay.
Does
I climb on up there.
what? Tashash throws him off and turns around and says,
Ah!
Not yet.
Oh,
he grunts.
I am going to turn into a bird. Then you will get on my back.
got it.
Okay.
A very
Tashash
progressive
turns-
taxonomy Tashash is sporting. I like it.
Tashash turns into a Quetzalcoatl.
Ooh.
How long does that take, by the way?
One action.
Wow, that's fast.
Yeah, so about 6 seconds.
Nope.
Dang.
Whoop.
I
Yeah.
I climb on up there.
All right. And I am going to. You know what? We're gonna disappear. Why not? Might as well use those spell slots, right? I am going to cast. Oh, that should be. I'm gonna cast Pass Without Trace, and I am going to fly us away. To a where we can I'm gonna just I don't know, fly away somewhere where they're not gonna some very isolated top of a mountain. I don't know, is there a good mountain nearby that I could fly to the top of?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I don't know.
So yeah.
Actually, and I'm gonna fly. No, I'm probably gonna fly for a couple hours.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I mean, just
as
get good and far away from.
So
here,
you've seen
from the Fujin.
you've seen along the cloud line, plenty of isolated peaks, just like the one where that stone giant had his like sanctuary built. There's plenty of others of those that you've seen that are.
You know, I might go
along
into.
the cloud line.
He might go deeper into giant territory. Because
Okay.
putting giants between us and the Fujin would probably make following us even more difficult.
So you're leaving the cloudy sea and going north.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
And you know, doing all the things that I would normally do to cast off, you know, tracking.
Well, you're flying, so.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, so I find a good peak, and
As you set off, you notice some geese begin flying with you in like a V formation behind you. They're drafting off of you.
They can see through my Pass Without Trace.
Yeah, okay. They try when you first take off, and then when you cast Pass Without Trace, they lose you.
All right, cool. So we find a good.
So there's no real mountains. There's some islands, fairly small islands, but you can find whatever size island you would like, basically.
Awesome, sweet. I'm gonna find us a deserted island and park us on it.
Roll me a survival check.
Oh yikes! That's a 6.
Okay, you find an island that does seem to you to meet your criterion.
I have a feeling this is not as deserted as I want it to be. Crap. All right, well, here we go. So Tashash lands, and once Finitier gets off, I turn back into a lizard.
So you are going to land on the beach, or like among the trees, or this island is sort of kind of a blobby, roughly circular shape. It does have an inlet in the northeast, and that's got some sort of beach around it. There's some woods. There's a little bit of wooded area, and also like some rocky formations in a few places.
All right. I'm gonna. Yeah, we'll land on one of the rocky outcrops or whatever.
Okay. You do
And
so.
Man, if I knew you could do that, I would have played it a lot cooler back at the bar.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you know of the stars? You are a priest.
Stars.
Perhaps you know of the stars.
Well, I know that when the stars are out, I sometimes get to talk to Pawn.
Hmm. And what does your god know of the stars?
He hasn't told me much about it that I know of.
Hmm.
There's
Do
not
you
a
think?
I guess.
Do
Yeah.
you think he knows many things about the stars?
Yeah, next time I talk to him, I could ask.
I need to find out about the stars.
And Tashash proceeds then to explain to Fennetir about the strange star in the sky and the lizard people and their and his mission that he's trying to find out about this. He says,
Yes, so my people are very concerned about this. What do you think of all that?
So this
Do
is
you
the
know
star
anything
that's
of this? Or do you think your god might know anything about this?
this is a star that's gonna fall soon, and soon means like the next couple 100 years or something.
Yes.
Hmm.
You would know, Fennetir, that the priests of Oberon have an extremely advanced astrological system that they use to try and predict starfalls. The priests of Palor, not quite as concerned with that sort of thing, but
Uh-huh.
but Oberon is very much tries to keep things neat and orderly and wants to know exactly where stars are going to fall. And so there's a well-developed system. If you were hanging around in three ways and somebody asked you this question and you wanted to help them, you would point them to the Temple of Oberon.
Gotcha. Well, hey man, you know that real intense dude that was with us for a while?
Yes, Watherin.
Yes, that guy worships a god that would know all about this. I think my temple used to be like right up against his or something back in three-way.
Not quite.
Oh, never mind. Sometimes I would stumble into his temple accidentally instead of my own.
There you go. Get some dirty looks. You notice it's been a couple hours, but by this point, you can see even this far to the northwest. To the northeast. To your southwest, there's a pretty serious weather system forming,
Ooh.
or that has formed. It doesn't reach this far to where you are. It's still
Does it
blue
look like-
skies above you.
does it look like it's heading this way?
No,
Okay.
it's just as you flew away from it, it was getting bigger and bigger.
Near the cloud
Um,
line.
Yeah, we're going to skip to back to Mal and Weatherin.
Hey, while they're doing that, can I go to sleep?
Yeah, if you guys want to make camp or whatever you want to do.
I'm not sure we're done talking.
Oh, okay. And just wait for.
We'll come back to you
Yeah.
soon.
Tashash is probably not ready to bed down at the moment.
The Weatherin and Mal, you are Weatherin, I suppose. Sarah takes off and heads back towards the ship.
Yeah, me too. I mean, if there's no fear in,
And
sorry, if the other two guys aren't there.
yeah, Gravy, goes off into the bushes.
Yeah, after Finish here.
Yeah. And you're gonna follow Sarah back?
Yeah.
So,
And just to say real quickly, I want to set up just to expose the audience to the internal state of Watherin that I see that they don't. Watherin is under the impression that Mal is kind of shady, that the captain is just straight up bad, and that everybody else is like there's just not good things going on. And he does not understand why Oberon has him going this way, but his is not to question why, it is to do and die.
So back aboard the ship, Sarah knocks on the captain's door,
I'm still behind her.
and he's pretty mad. This is, I ordered the sailors back aboard this ship. They don't want to come. She says, I'm afraid the priest has abandoned the ship, along with the insane foreigner lizard man, who I mean we had already made peace with him being dead, so this is not much of a loss, really. But he was quite a fighter. I hate it. I'm so exhausted. But I'll go after them. Takes down his spear, harpoon. You don't see this, but you do see him take the spear. It still has giant blood on it. And he stalks off down the gangplank.
And can I
Marcus!
say,
Yeah.
can Watherin say, Captain, it's double duty, but I am fit to act as a priest. Just to let you know.
I appreciate your spirit. And he goes off. A few drops of rain fall. He stalks around the island. You can hear him yelling at Agang. He's gone for maybe 15 minutes. And then you see, coming from the west, the figure of the frost giant. Slowly stomping his way towards the ship.
That's not good.
And eventually you see the captain, and he meets up with the frost giant. They exchange words, and after a pretty short conversation, the captain gets back on board the Fujin, and you cast off.
Okay.
Anything you do right away, as or directly after casting off?
I believe Mal turns to Watherin and says, well, we have a ritual to perform. You have the head.
Yeah, I've got the heads. Let's do it.
We're going to need all the divine blessing we can get from anyone we can get it from. So Mal goes and plays a, very diminished role. He kind of is hands off. He's no fool. He recognizes that Watherin is wigged out by his spiritual ties. So I think he's trying to just play nice and be low key.
I think
this
wigged
is a
out is a
very-
little strong, just for whatever it's worth. I know what you mean, but just to say that Watherin's
Mildly
just-
skeeved.
Yeah, Watherin he's a paladin of Oberon. It's not strange to him that there's like some dude, might have to fight sometime, but not right now. Just to also, the bat dolphin and off the port side, leopard bear off the starboard, that whole thing, whatever that is involved.
Yep.
Remembering that when Watherin asked the priests about the thing and we prayed to Oberon for whatever, and Watherin sort of, not intentionally exactly, but hijacked the request to Oberon for some other purposes, to help him in finding Firin and so forth. So Watherin's aware of that, but I guess nobody else is.
Right. So the god described this ritual to you as a blessing to hunt the kraken.
Right.
And so when you do it, you've had so I guess with all solemnity, you go ahead and you hang the one head off the one side,
Mm-hmm.
you hang the other head off the other side, and just as you do it, go ahead and roll a religion check,
Okey dokey.
both of you.
Let's
Okay.
see. Religion. There it is. Seven.
13.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, I had set 13 as the DC for this. Weathering, you're a little disappointed, but your loyalty is sufficient to convince you that whatever needs to be done has been done. Malmer, you feel something spiritually sort of click. And when you've experienced Oberon in the past, it's been a little nauseating, maybe. A little bit like, this is not really my thing. It's sort of kept you out. You've sort of been external to it. But this time, you sort of see Oberon as this tired old god, lacking vitality, lacking like the hunter's spirit. But when this ritual is completed, it's sort of like there's a kind of magnet in your soul, and it twists just a little bit and comes into alignment with some sort of field that this ritual creates. You get just aligned just a little bit.
The elf in me. The elf in me aligns with the ritual.
It's the
The
hunter.
fury in me.
The rest of you might not like Oberon or be too much on Oberon's side, but this particular hunter's blessing kind of gets to you.
I was going to say, Oberon is the one who went to Palor and said, hey, let me hunt your kraken. So there is something on behalf of the elves. So there is something in Oberon that Mal respects, and he gets it. He understands.
This is the point where Mal realizes maybe not all in Oberon is to be rejected. The
Mal-
next thing that happens to you two is that
Like immediately in bullet time kind of thing.
no, not immediately in bold time, but go on.
When that clicks in Mal's heart, he goes and he gets what's left of his stash of booze. He's probably just got a little bit in a small bottle left. He's used up a lot of it, but he goes to Watherin and he says, "Just a sip. I know we're on shift, and I'm sure you don't partake when you have duties, but to the hunt and the blessing of Oberon, your god, he is surprising, and his presence on this boat, his attentions are most welcome to this hunt. And as you and I are two of a party that are left to our continued alliance upon this ship, to our common fate." And he raises and he hands the bottle over to Watherin.
Did he drink from it?
Not yet.
And Watherin says, "Thanks. I appreciate that. Please, after you."
Okay. And he drinks first and then he hands it to Watherin.
And Watherin.
Can I make a perception check to see if Mal notices that Watherin is like veiled and making a veiled accusation of poison?
I don't think that he's veiling it.
And Watherin wets his lips as well with the alcohol.
Mal gives kind of an exasperated raising of the eyebrow when he takes the first sip, but lets it go.
After this, a dark elf.
And Watherin did that in pretty good spirits. It wasn't like
Hmm.
snide. It was just like, "I'll drink if you drink. I don't trust you, but that's okay." You know, kind of a thing.
Right.
The captain and the leader of the dark elves come out to where you're standing, and the dark elf leader has his hands on his ears, like there's a noise that he does not like going on, like he's being irritated by a ringing sound in his ears.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying to the captain, this is or he's talking to the captain in Undercommon, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But you can catch a few words. It's like bad,
Wait,
not good.
Watherin knows Undercommon.
Oh, Watherin, he's saying, this is bad. This is unacceptable on the ship. We cannot have this. I can't stand it. And the captain says, What is this?
What's what?
We were just toasting to our alliance on we were having a moment, sir. I hope that's allowed.
I'm glad you are having a moment. Listen, you're one of my harpooneers. You've done some sort of magic on the ship. That's fine. I don't care. He's one of my harpooneers. He doesn't like the magic that you just did. What am I supposed to do?
Can Mal make a religion check to see if he can discern the effect of this on the guy and whether or not he can?
Watherin says, "Hey." Watherin says, "You can do whatever you like, Captain. I said a prayer to Oberon. He told me in a vision that if I do this, this is for blessing and hunting Enma, the Great Kraken. So, sure, we can take off the blessing to find and kill Enma from Oberon, but that's what it's for. You call. Your call."
The captain says, I am not going to deal with this right now. You settle it amongst yourselves.
And
Only no killing each other and no messing up my ship. And he turns on his heel, stalks back to his cabin, slams the door. The camera lifts up and goes back to Shosh. And
Real quick, I made a a DC 18 religion check. So if Mal
What does he want to know?
is there a way to mitigate the effect of this for the Dark Elf without having to remove the spell?
Absolutely. Waithorn had a suggestion. He was just going to box his ears.
We'll see how that. I just wanted to let you know I already rolled it, and I just wanted to get it on the record. So
Sure.
moving on.
Tashash, you are sitting on a rock or standing, such as the case may be, with this strange priest of Pan, Fennetir, who you have just carried here, far away from the ship, far away from the strange nest that was Nebulaster's perch.
What the crud was that?
I think it was a
That was
yawn.
Dwight.
Oh,
That was
Dwight.
Finnetir yawning.
got it.
Oh. Tashash is oblivious to Finnetir's yawning. He
Oh, one more last thing. Sorry. Malmer and Weatherin. Lightning starts to crackle. The clouds are very thick. Rain's starting to come down harder now. Okay, back to the peaceful island. Blue skies. The storm is to your southwest.
all right. Tashash. Tashash appears somewhat disgruntled to Finnetir, I think. And he says,
I think
and then he looks and
I do not know what I think.
he looks very confused for a moment, and then he continues.
You elves are very, they make me not know what I think. You are the only one, though, who has not shown himself wholly incapable of proper dealings, nor has he tried to compel me through force or coercion to do that which I did not wish to do.
Hey man, I don't wanna harsh your mellow.
I think here Tashash would, well, no. So Tashash says,
Well, I need to find out more about this star. Do you think that you, or perhaps your god, can help in this matter?
Here's what I can tell you. I know that I have not been hearing from my god, and that goose guy was telling me that has to do with being close to something. I think the ragged edge. I think we're now further from that ragged edge. So there's a chance that if I go to sleep, I will be able to talk to my god.
I wouldn't. Well, is there a place where perhaps you might even be, where you might even speak to your god better than where we are now?
Well, I do have this little arrow that points me to where my god wants me to go. And I pull out my little doohickey.
I will make you an offer then. I will take you to a place where we might speak to your god. And then you will speak to your god and ask him what he knows of this matter.
That sounds perfect.
I offer no more, no less.
No ride
You
home.
accept.
I got it.
Do you accept my offer?
Yeah. Yeah, I will tell you everything that my god tells me about your star.
Tashash smiles. And he extends a hand to Finnetir.
Does the smile look horrifying?
I'm
It
just gonna say that Tashash's beak is
Well,
real long.
I'm not in that
He's
form.
turned back into
No,
a...
but even as a
Oh.
there are some
Yeah.
Quetzalcoatl like features that you have taken on as
Oh,
your
my
normal lizard folk self. Your
my
snout is
snout
much
longer.
longer and pointier, yeah, than it was before.
Finnetir,
Yeah, it looks in in a different world you might be reminded of a Picasso painting.
Finnetir tries not to visibly look terrified. I'm not sure how successful he is.
Tashash extends a hand. Tashash is oblivious. He extends a hand to Finnetir.
Finnetir, happy that Tishash does not seem to be offended by his terror, goes ahead and shakes that claw.
Very good. Now, where shall we go?
Well, I believe it's called the Swampy Swampertones.
The Swamp Eternal.
The Swamp... I was close.
Yeah, pretty
do.
close. You got some T sounds in there.
I do not know where that is.
It is to the south of here, and we have to go past Three-Way where we started.
Finnetir,
yes.
you have the
Yeah.
totem.
Yeah, it's basically we go to where this arrow is pointing.
All right, then let us go. Get on my back. After I have become a bird.
Finnetir was about to climb on.
Can you do that?
He had one leg up, ready to go. I remember now.
Down.
I don't need. You don't have
Back
to
on the
throw me
sand.
out.
All right. Tashash turns into a bird.
Great. I think this is a wonderful place to draw this episode to a close. We've got much fun awaiting us in episodes to come. Where's my thing? Here we go. That is where we're going to stop. Let's do experience.
EXP.
Weatherin,
Hi.
did you take any risks to help your friends or shipmates?
Yes. Give me a second here. I was... Well, let me see. Which one would that classify more as?
You definitely got the other two.
Yeah.
You definitely helped in the hunt for Enma. You definitely advanced your personal quest.
I would say I'm trying to decide if this is fate or the other one. My helping or trying to persuade the two other guys to get back on the ship. It complicates things because it sort of puts them off and expresses my attitude towards fate, but it also was a little bit risky and tried to help them, not die from the captain and stuff.
Yeah, you can pick whether you want the experience point or the fate point.
I will go with the fate point.
Cool. 2 experience points, 1 fate point for Weatherin.
Deal.
Tashash, did you take any risks to help your friends or shipmates?
I helped Finatier escape, and then I offered him a deal.
Yeah, I'm
which
not
will be
dead.
to his benefit.
Take a point. Is there any special way you helped in the hunt for Enma the Silver Squid? I'm not going to give you a point for this because you left
Nope.
the ship. Did you advance
Yep.
your personal quest? I should.
I would say yes, because I've made a deal with Finatier, which may
May or may
pay
not.
some
turn out-
dividends for that.
Who knows what Pawn will say?
I am
I think that-
pursuing this quest.
Fate points are about the fate of the ship. So I don't think that if you're away from the ship, you can earn a fate point. But during the point where you were on or near or with the ship, did your attitude towards fate complicate your life in a meaningful way?
I think I have made an enemy of Captain Gorio because of my utter my attitude towards fate is that my job is to help do the work that I need to do for my people, and that has put me, it seems, at crossways with Captain Gorio.
Yeah, give yourself a fate point, and also you get the secret experience point.
What was it?
It's a secret.
It's a secret, but you get
It's
it.
a secret. What?
Hey, quick
Finatier.
quick note.
Right.
I decided to do experience, not fate.
Okay.
Just putting it on the record.
Oh, Matt. I have leveled up.
Awesome. Go ahead
So-
and level your character up for next episode. Did you take any risks, Finatier, to help your friends or shipmates?
I did not think so.
You
Is
did.
there any?
You made a deal with Tashash. Goes both ways.
Yeah.
I
You guys,
don't know if I know that is actually going to help Tashash, though. I mean, I guess I sort of think Pawn might come through, but
you and Tashash traveling together, apart from the whole ship, is fairly dangerous. It is a risk, so I think you should get a point for this.
okay.
Is there any special way that you helped in the hunt for Enma the Silver Squid?
They're probably better off without me.
I don't think we're going to count that, but I appreciate the sentiment. Did you advance your personal quest? Yes, definitely yes. Did your attitude towards fate complicate your life in a meaningful way?
I mean, I could have just gotten on the boat and
Yeah, I think you definitely get the fate point. But also, you also get the secret experience point.
ooh.
Malmer, did you take any risks to help your friends or shipmates?
I confronted a pretty pissed off Tashash and grabbed him by the shoulder and tried to spin him around and confront him.
Sure. Yeah. You can have a point for that. Is there any special way that you helped in the hunt for Enma the Silver Squid? I think so.
Yeah.
Did you advance your personal quest? Yes, definitely. The translation of the Undercommon.
Indeed.
Did your attitude towards fate complicate your life in a meaningful way?
I'd say so.
Yeah. Sure. Good job, everyone. I'm quite excited about the episodes that we're going to have going forward. I should let you know there are going to be a couple roles that I'm going to do off screen that we might be entering Act 3 within the next couple of episodes.
Sehr gut.
Sounds
I look
good.
forward to it.
All right.
Great.
So that is all for tonight. Thank you for joining us. Tune in this same time next week for another exciting episode. And remember, failure is beautiful.